welcome back to Sacred Health. I'm Carolyn. Today, we are going to be talking about forgiveness. This is episode 4 already, and I'm actually very, I guess it's surprised. Like, it feels like it went by really fast. And I guess that just comes with actually taking action on something rather than sitting around and like mentally planning it out for months and months. Once you start like getting the ball rolling and doing it, it goes by fast. And it feels like it was productive time being used. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes things go by really fast and it's like you look back and you didn't even do anything, that sucks. And I've felt that a lot of my life. So I'm really thankful that I'm able to look at my podcast that I've started and just be proud that I've actually done it. And I'm like making an effort to put it out there and to be consistent. And I'm really proud of myself because that is something I'm like breaking the habit of being inconsistent and just like talking things out and not really doing anything about it. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm just really excited about this. This is a side note. So if you are watching on YouTube, which if you didn't know, I record these and post a video up on YouTube. The following Tuesday after the podcast airs is when it goes live on YouTube. So if you're watching, I'm going to grab this. Hold on. Okay, I should have like already had this ready. Okay, so I just got oh my gosh, I can't even think. On Amazon, a like sage and Palo Santo like bundle on Amazon. So if you're looking on YouTube, this is a sage bundle. Like if you've ever gotten sage to like cleanse your home or something, it comes in this little bundle. It's wrapped in like string and it looks like a big cigar or something similar. Yeah, it's so neat. And I like the smell. It's very earthy. My husband, like I cleansed yesterday in here with the sage and he was like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, that smells terrible. So it just made me laugh, but I love the smell of it. It's so nice. And I got this Palo Santo. So it came with this, and I've always, once I heard about sage, I also heard about Palo Santo, and I've always wanted to try it. And I've never done it. I've never purchased it. So I was really thankful that this came together with the sage and I was finally able to use it. And it's like literally just a stick. It just looks like a stick. It smells so good though, guys. Oh my gosh. If you have tried sage and you're like, okay, this is kind of stinky, like I'm not a fan, get Palo Santo. It smells so good. It's like a subtle smell. Like sage is really strong. Like especially if you get it really smoky, it's like too much. You know what I mean? It's very, the smell, it just lingers for a long time. But the Palo Santo, I'm like so excited. So if you're just listening to this and you can't see what I'm doing, then I don't know, this might be really random, but I just love it. It smells so good. So I just wanted to share that, and I'll link that in the show notes and everything, the store that I got it off of Amazon, because I think it's really it's a new practice I'm trying of like cleansing my space in that way, like using smoke and things. And I think it's beneficial. I think it's worth trying. Not everyone will think that that's worth trying, but I think, give it a shot. It might be something you really enjoy, and it just smells good. Like if you like incense and things, like I think at least the Palo Santo would be more appealing than the sage. If you just kind of like that smoky, earthy kind of smell, definitely try that. Okay, I know that was like completely unrelated to forgiveness, but I just did this like right before I recorded. So it's like, it's in my mind. Anyway, okay, so we're going to start with the cleansing breath. If you have like, oh my gosh, essential oils or something, you can like put a diffuser on or like put it in your hand, or like a bracelet or something. Like that's a good way to do a cleansing breath if you have something to smell with it. Or like an incense or a Palo Santo or something. that helps, that like enhances the cleansing breath situation. So anyway, I'm really like hyper right now. I'm feeling more chill. I guess I did cleanse the vibes in this office. Okay, anyway, cleansing breath. Okay, focus. Okay, so I want you guys to take a minute. If you are driving, please don't close your eyes, but you can still like calm your mind. And if you are able to take a minute, sit where you're at or stand comfortably. Close your eyes. Focus on the space in between your eyebrows and make sure it is softened. Make sure your eyes are not scrunched, that they are relaxed. Take a minute to focus on your jaw, unclench your jaw, as Madam Adam says in a lot of his videos, unclench your jaw. A lot of the time we clench our jaws and like tense our neck and our shoulders and even our face, like our head, without even realizing it. And that happens to me frequently if I'm not, assessing myself. So, make sure your jaw is unclenched, your face is relaxed, your shoulders are down, they're not scrunched up towards your ears. And once you feel relaxed physically, if it feels comfortable for you, put your hands on your heart or in your lap. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold at the top and exhale through the mouth. And repeat. And open your eyes. That was wonderful. I really liked that. That was probably the most calming, cleansing breath that I've done. Like, as far as starting out the podcast, I feel a difference with this one the most. So hopefully that helped you out. And now we can get started with the episode. So today we're going to talk about forgiveness. I kind of started talking about this. Wow, I just like lost all my words. I started talking about this at the end of the last episode. Just kind of like starting to get into, how you can feeling compassion towards other people and how everybody is just trying the best that they can and just trying to have an open mind basically of situations and of people, which then means, extending forgiveness to them, extending love towards them. And I think this is something a lot of people struggle with. I know I do. Whether it's me forgiving someone or someone forgiving me, I mean, that's a very common thing that happens throughout our lifetime, is learning how to handle that, how to process it. Because it's like, I feel like that's not really taught, or like as far as like a life skill goes, that's just not a thing. At least not for me in my experience. It was taught to like, okay, just say sorry to people, like apologize. And even as a parent myself, like there had been times where I would be like, okay, to one of my kids, okay, say sorry. But it's not them saying sorry, it's me telling them to. So it's not genuine in that sense. So I feel like, and I think that was common, is like for my generation of people. I'm in my 30s now. I'm 31. So like 90s kids, 2000s kids, of like being told to apologize when the teacher or the parent or whoever tells you to, and it's not the person processing it on their own and feeling called to apologize, which then makes it hard for the other person to forgive them because they don't feel like it's genuine. You know what I mean? And that causes like resistance and confusion even, which I never thought about like that until literally right now as I'm talking, how that could be difficult, especially for a kid, or even, adults, to figure out how to process that. So I Googled, of course, the definition of forgiveness, and this is from, Merriam-Webster Dictionary. So forgiveness means to cease to feel resentment against an offender or to pardon. So it's basically letting go of resentment against someone, to let it go. And I think part of what makes forgiveness difficult is that we've probably experienced something where we feel like somebody doesn't deserve to be forgiven because of something they've done to hurt us or someone we care about. Or it could be flipped around, and you could internally think you don't deserve forgiveness because of something you have done, which then you look back on and realize, okay, I wouldn't have done that, or I would have done something different. And then you're like internally battling with yourself on that, on how to let that go and forgive yourself for something. The thing about forgiveness, or like not forgiving, I should say, is that builds up inside of you. You become resentful, you become bitter, angry, just like kind of like that whole like I hate everybody, I hate everything kind of, yeah, just anger, just resentment. I'm trying to think of other words that would describe that. I guess those are the only two that I can think of. Just being bitter, yeah, like you're holding on to something or maybe multiple things that are so, it's like toxic, it's like holding you down, and it's painful, and it's potentially traumatic to feel those things or to revisit those memories, and then you end up lashing out towards other people. Really, this computer wants to restart now. No, thank you. It's like the computer I have my notes on. Here, I'm going to try to multitask this here. So basically, if you're holding all this anger inside, all these emotions because of something you're having a hard time letting go of, like that's going to come out in some way. It's going to come out towards the people you love, or come out towards people you don't love, or come out internally towards yourself, and you're going to take that out on you. And that's a terrible way to live your life. Like, doesn't that suck? Like, if you think about it like that, that shit sucks. Why would you want to live your life hating everyone or hating yourself because of something that happened like potentially years ago? I don't know. It could have happened recently or not. It could have been 20, 30 years ago. Who knows? But that's just, it sounds so exhausting and painful, like it's just like I believe our lives were meant to be vibrant and full of life and just full of being fulfilled and happy and just excited. And to have certain things hold you back so much because you are struggling with learning how to let them go, that's really difficult. That's really sad. um and basically the reason why I keep repeating that is because it's, to me, it's reaffirming that I don't want to live my life that way. I don't want to have things hold me down and weigh on me enough to prevent me from living my best life that I can live. You know what I mean? So like sometimes you'll hear stories. I listen to Bailey Sarian's podcast, Murder, Mystery, and Makeup. That's like her YouTube stuff, but also she has a podcast called Dark History. And in both of those, um, pretty much, but especially the murder, like true crime videos that she does, you'll hear about like the families that, their loved one got killed or hurt, or something happened to them, or it's something that happened to them and they lived through it, and you know what I mean? Like it was terrible shit. And sometimes you'll hear of the family or like the person that it happened to directly forgiving these people that hurt them, or forgiving the people that killed their family member, or something like horrible, traumatic. how the fuck are they doing that? Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, what is causing these people to find compassion in their hearts towards these people that hurt them terribly? That's stuff that can't be like fixed, it can't be, you can't go back in time and get a loved one back that got taken from you too soon because of somebody else. How do these people forgive them? Like, I just, why do you think that is? What caused them to shift and move from feeling that anger and resentment and potentially hatred towards someone and move towards forgiving them? And I think that the people who have forgiven and have learned that is they realize that forgiveness is about them. It's not about the person that hurt them. It's not excusing their behavior. It's not excusing, oh my God, my stomach just growled so loud. It's not like, just because you're forgiving someone and you're choosing to release that, it doesn't mean you're like happy with what they did to you, or it doesn't mean that you're like, okay, that's fine, I'm gonna like put up with it again, or be okay if it happens to someone else I love. Like, no, that's not it. The forgiveness is so they can heal themselves and move on. And then to flip it in a different way, looking inward at yourself. If you did something in the past that you're like, okay, I look back on this and I was like a dumbass, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with how I handled things. I seriously regret how I handled things, or like I wish I would have done XYZ differently. You can learn to forgive yourself too. Like, the same things apply inwardly towards you. It doesn't mean that you can look at an action you took and be like, okay, I'm fine with it, that was okay. Like, no, you can realize, okay, that wasn't okay. That wasn't something I feel proud of or that I would do now. Like, you can acknowledge that and also acknowledge that you're ready to move forward and not let it hold you down anymore. So you can acknowledge both things. Okay, so to kind of shift, I was doing a workbook challenge situation. Let me get this. So I was doing a workbook with Manifestation Babe. Her name is Catherine Zankina, manifestationbabe.com. That's like her Instagram and everything. So she has a book. It's like a workbook, but a book you can buy on Amazon or on Kindle or whatever. And it's called Unleash Your Inner Money Babe. And it's like a 21-day challenge to work on your money mindset. But so in this workbook, in one of her daily like challenges, she talks about the Hawaiian practice of forgiveness. And this, okay, I have practiced saying this mentally. I put the little like how you pronounce it next to this word on my notes. If you are Hawaiian, I'm sorry if this is going to get butchered. Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono, I think is how you say that. So it's this long word, H-O apostrophe O-P-O-N-O-P-O-N-O. Okay, that's the word. It's their traditional Hawaiian, basically to make things right kind of practice for forgiving somebody. And the basis, well, here, let me say this. The literal translation of this means to put right, to put in order or shape, correct, revise, adjust, amend, regulate, arrange, rectify, tidy up, make orderly or neat. So basically you're getting your shit together and trying to fix it as best as possible and to smooth things over with someone. So the basis of this, there's 4 mantras that kind of summarize this practice that they do, which are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I vaguely heard of this term before, but I kind of forgot about it and I never implemented it until this practice that Catherine was talking about in her book. So the way she brought it up was that, because it's related to like money mindset, writing down like 25 things to forgive anybody about related to money mindset, but it could be other things, but around money mindset. So her example was like forgiving your parents for saying that they couldn't buy you a toy when you were young that you wanted because they couldn't afford it. And like, that seems like such a small thing. And it even seems like something like, why would that be upsetting you now? Like as an adult, like why would you still be holding on to that? But for like, if I could think about that in my case, like you being told as a kid that you can't afford something, that puts it out there to you that money is limited and you can't ever get out of that. So it's kind of just like putting you in a box of thinking like, okay, there's only so much to go around. And if you're into like the abundance mentality, like shifting your money mentality, like getting out of scarcity mindset, that's very like opposite of what that is. So like the abundance mindset is like there's more than enough. There's always enough money to go around. Like you can attract more money all the time, like, you know what I'm saying, like that type of thing. So it's very conflicting is what I'm getting at, and that could be fucking confusing. So but anyway, this is not really related to that whole abundance thing, but that's how I heard about it, and that made sense to me. It's like, okay, so you can just like forgive people for anything, even if it's something that might feel small. And obviously this practice could be extended to different areas of your life, like any area really. So when I have looked up this practice, it was kind of, I as far as what I could tell when I would read about it, is that the context is like they're using this the mantras to like work things out amongst two people or like a group of people, like in front of you, you know what I mean, like in person, where you kind of go through it. Like I said, I'm not Hawaiian. I'm not familiar with Hawaiian culture. I've never been there. I don't really know anyone that's like in the culture that could educate me. So if you are Hawaiian and you can educate me on this more, like as how does this actually look in your life? Like I would love to hear about that, because I don't, all I know is what I researched and how I could apply it to myself internally, which is what I'm going to continue to discuss. But I would definitely love to hear viewpoints of people using this. Like, I mean, you don't have to be Hawaiian, obviously, but like that's where it came from. So that I do want to hear about that. But using it like literally with someone and like working through something with somebody using this, that would be so neat to hear about. So when I use this practice, I'm doing this mentally in my mind and I'm journaling things out. So it's like visualizing plus journaling. So the first section of this, the mantra, I'm sorry. This could be you saying I'm sorry to someone, whether it's to them literally in front of them or just mentally you're apologizing to someone that you've hurt. Another way you can look at it is saying I'm sorry, I like to yourself, like I'm sorry I let this weigh on me for so long. I'm sorry I spoke to you that way or did this. And when you say that, like you could be talking, mentally to a person that you hurt. And you could also be talking to yourself. I'm sorry I treated you that way, to someone or to you. Like, I'm sorry I talked down on you. We talk down on ourselves a lot. So like you could apologize, mentally to a person you talk down to, but also to yourself. There's so many ways you can go about apologizing. But the biggest thing about that is realizing what you could control and like what you were responsible for and owning up to that. So whether that was an action you took against you, like yourself or a person, or your thoughts towards yourself or a person, just really owning up to those things acknowledging them and using this process to release that. The please forgive me, that's obviously like you wishing someone would forgive you. But when I first did this practice, I had interpreted it as I forgive you. So, especially with a lot of mine, it was either me talking to myself or me talking to someone else that was not in front of me. Like I wasn't gonna talk to them about this. I don't, usually. So I would say like I forgive you. I forgive you for what like happened or what was said or not said. And just kind of realizing I'm ready to let this go. And it doesn't mean I agree with what happened, but I'm ready to move forward, that type of thing. Excuse me. The thank you. This was a big one for me. The thank you, because you could be like, okay, why the fuck would I say thank you to somebody that was a douche or whatever? or, or why would I say thank you to myself for like being like an ass, like to someone or to myself? Like sometimes it's hard to understand or like come to grips of like, why would I say thank you? But the biggest thing for me was saying thank you for teaching, like, thank you for this situation teaching me something. That came out really weird. Like, thank you for the lesson this has taught me. Okay, that sounds better. Like, thank you to God, to spirit, to the universe, to higher powers of some kind, or just to the person, that you're thinking about. Like, thank you for teaching me something, because even though this was difficult, I learned from this. And that's fucking huge, man. Through life, you're going to go through shit and it's going to suck sometimes, but you like learning to find the lesson in a difficult or even a great experience, but also a difficult experience. That is huge, because it's gonna affect how you live the rest of your life. If you learn something from something that was hard, I mean, that's completely change your life. And that's something that's helped me a lot with going through difficult experiences, is learning how to find the lesson there and being thankful that it taught me something or multiple things. The I love you. This is a big one too. Everybody needs love. Everybody wants to feel loved. I'm like, I love the brain. It's very fascinating to me. So when I think of like the true crime shit, fucking serial killers and like horrible people that have done terrible fucking things, they needed love too. What caused them to lash out like that fucking crazy, or like sadistic and like evil, you know what I mean? Something had to influence that, whether it was their upbringing, a heartbreak, or just this is a total side note. Dr. Amen. So on social media, it's like Dr. Amen, Amen, like amen. On YouTube, it's Amen Clinics or something like that. This guy's a fucking genius, because he does like brain scans on people. He's so fucking smart, and like his whole clinic, like it's mind-boggling to me. I believe, and he has also started to research this, I believe, or like wants to. I don't know how in depth, but or he noticed patterns or something like that. That traumatic injuries to the head, to the brain, influence your behavior in the future. And so I believe he noticed a pattern of some sort of like people who got hit in the head, whether they fell down or like got a sports injury or like an accident or something. It affected how their brain handled things. Like they were more prone to anger, more prone to like types of behavior or mental illnesses. That's fascinating to me. So anyway, that's like kind of a side note, but look him up. He's on podcasts and all kinds of stuff. But these people, basically, to like go back, the people that you think of, like these horrible people that have done horrible things, they have, it was either their upbringing or, just like something happened to them. Like, I believe, and even Bailey Sarian said this on a lot of her episodes, like these people get hit in the head. There's people that end up doing crazy things. Like they somehow had an accident as a kid. Like it's so fucking common. Um, so I do think that definitely contributes to people like losing their shit and like doing terrible things. But at the end of the day, everyone needs to feel loved. They want to feel loved by somebody. And it comes out in fucking weird, sometimes mean, sometimes hateful, sometimes just fucking shitty ways. We, at the core of it, we want to feel loved and we want to feel like desired and wanted, whether that's like romantically or even just otherwise. You know what I mean? We just want to feel like we're desired and loved by someone. And that comes out in a shitty way sometimes when we don't, when we don't have that. So kind of when, I hope this is making sense, but when I realized that like, oh, everybody just wants to be loved, I just felt compassion, I guess, is kind of how that clicked in my head, that, oh, even the people that lash out, or even me thinking about myself when I have lashed out on my loved ones, it's because I didn't feel loved and I didn't know how to ask for it. I didn't know how to express it in a way that was clear. Or sometimes especially at the time, like I couldn't even identify what I wanted. But now looking back, it's like I just wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel like a unit, or like, you know what I mean? That I just had that connection and I didn't have it at the time. And so that kind of coming to those realizations really made it a lot easier for me to feel compassion towards people in general. Like, so throughout this forgiveness process, like once I kind of realized, oh, we're all doing the best we can with what we know, like it's all based on our experience and like how we've learned and grown up and what we've been exposed to. I kind of learned how to like show love to them without agreeing with them too. Do you know what I mean? Like I've learned to aerially view certain situations, like where I can look down on it and kind of take my emotions out and just be like, what's this other person's experience here? How are they handling, like, how are they interpreting this? What are they going through? What is happening to them that causes them to take out their life experience and project it in a certain way? I used to never think like that. Like for basically my whole life, I never I never thought of things like that. And I feel like I'm so proud that I've grown enough and matured enough to look at something in that way, because it makes this forgiveness process so much easier to to just look at something from a new point of view and realize, oh, this person might be hurting too. And although it came out in a way that I don't like, I can at least see that they're a human and they were hurt also. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to give you a personal example, and I'm going to be pretty vague, but I want you to hear how this, like, I applied this more specifically to like an actual situation, not just me like explaining it. Okay, so there's someone who's close to me who's like, as far as dynamics go, they're close to me, but like as far as me being close to them, like emotionally, I'm not that close to them. Do you know what I'm saying? So like they're around because of the dynamics of my home, my family, my immediate family. Does that make sense? Um, so, and I wouldn't see this person like super frequently, at least lately, because sometimes they're in town and sometimes they're not. And then, but anyway, like basically we would see this person. When I say we, I mean like me and my husband and my family. So this person would like appear to be stressed out or like tense or just like mad, like, and then in turn, we would take that as like they didn't want to be around us, because when we were there, we felt that's we were reading them a certain way and they were reading us a certain way. Does that make sense? So we kind of interpreted it like, oh, it's us, like they don't want to be around us. And it was kind of this like tension that will kind of get overlooked a lot, but like I could feel it and I didn't know if it was me or if it was the other person or if it was something else. Like I just didn't know. And so I was just kind of like, I felt awkward a lot because I didn't know what was going on, basically. um but nothing was actually like it communicated directly about anything. So I mean, I can only speak for myself that I was just kind of like guessing and I didn't know if it was me or not, and I was just kind of taking it that it was me. So eventually there was a situation where like basically there's drama amongst the people involved, and but nothing was like addressed on the other person's like point of view. Like it was us saying our point of view, that we thought you're upset with us or like you don't want to be around us, or like, that's how we're interpreting it. But like there was no like confirmation of that from the other person, or saying that was wrong. Like we just didn't know. So anyway, it was kind of just like an awkward thing. And kind of like nothing was formally discussed. It was kind of just like, let's squash this and then forget about it type of thing. So um yeah, so I mean I just kind of like, okay. So then my husband kind of brought up to me like randomly. It was random to me, not to him, because he was already like talking things out with that person. But um he was like, I think I know, like he actually has had a lot of compassion too, and like this whole like viewing people with love thing, like he has really brought that out too, and in ways that like with this situation I initially wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have thought of this. So him bringing it to my attention like really helped me be open to this, is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, he was like, okay, I have some thoughts. This person, that the person I'm talking about, them, I could see why they would come across like being stressed out, or not just come across, but actually be stressed out and tense, because the environment that they're in is not supportive. It's not fulfilling. They're getting a lot of shit from people around them that is like they're trying to do their own thing and pave their own path in life and learn about themselves and just try things. And the people immediately surrounding them are just like, no, don't do that. That's dumb. Stop. I mean, like, I'm saying it kind of like obnoxiously, but yeah, that's like basically the gist of it. Is they're not feeling supported, they're not feeling fulfilled. There's other things like growing up that caused a lot of like bitterness, or potentially, that's how I would interpret it. I don't know that like from them, but just a lot of like obstacles getting in the way of living a life that is fulfilling, or that like having the freedom to do what they want type of thing. Like there's very like in this box, and especially around here, the box is strong. Like it's not like, like the immediate surrounding environment is in a box, or at least I wouldn't say I'm in that box, because I would support this person in doing things that they want to do. Like I don't care. But as far as like their immediate box is like, stay in this box and do this and do this, and it's not in alignment, or at least they don't even have a chance to like try to see if it's in alignment, because everyone's just like won't shut the fuck up type thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, he was explaining this to me, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, because I would feel bitter and I would feel stressed and tense and like probably be pissy if I mean, I have felt that, where when my immediate surrounding environment was not supportive, or just energetically low and like draining to be around, of course I felt fucking pissed off and like took it out on people. You know what I mean? So, excuse me, basically, the point I'm getting at with this is that he brought that up to me. I was like, oh shit, I've been sitting here like angry at this person, or just kind of like not moving forward with it, or just kind of accepting that it was going to be weird, which it might still be. I don't know. But mentally I had not released anything. You know what I mean? So once he brought that up to me, I was like, oh my God, I feel like compassion. Like I'm sorry. Like I felt bad for how I felt, or like how I handled things, because I never thought of it from that point of view. That, oh, this person, they might, I mean, whether it is towards us or not, they might be stressed out for other things, but we were not open enough to even be curious and ask, or to think that that was the case. We just immediately said, oh, it's because of us. And that's a closed ass minded perspective. You know, it's like selfish, like, you know. And so anyway, basically after I kind of came to all those conclusions, I felt really like compassionate, and I had to do this forgiveness exercise the next day towards this person, like mentally. You know, I didn't talk to them directly, but just mentally, to be like, I love you, and I feel for you, and I see you, and I hope at some point in time you can realize that, like, I'm not against you. And yeah, we might not be like best friends, you know, I don't know, but I'm not, there's no like hard feelings. Like, there's, you know what I mean? There's no negativity there now. You know, I was like ready to let that go, and I just felt love, and was like, you know, you deserve a wonderful experience and a wonderful life, and other people around you might shit on it, but I won't, type thing. Like, I've fully figured that out and processed it, and I had to like mentally really process that, because I felt really sad for a minute that things just kind of went south, because we were not open enough to see this other person's experience, or even to be curious about what their experience was. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And I hope, well, and also too, me going through that forgiveness situation like that, the other person I'm thinking of, like, they might not even like be aware of this. They might not even ever like want to talk to me, like, honestly. But that's something that I had to realize. I don't have control of that. There's nothing I can do about that. This is for me to heal, and just being fine with it. And that really helped me out. So I know that was kind of long, but I wanted to really talk through this and explain it, because I think this is something that can really help a lot of people begin the process of learning how to forgive others or themselves for things, and just releasing those emotions, releasing that anger, that bitterness or sadness from their body and from their mind and their soul. Because your life is not meant to be in like living in that state of mind. That's shitty. That sucks. Like, I'm such a strong believer that our lives are meant to be fully enjoyed and loved, and like vibrant and exciting. And that even though you're 31 and you have kids, like, it doesn't mean you can't be fun, and it doesn't mean you can't enjoy what you love and have fun experiences, you know, or just whatever the case may be. You know, you should be able to live a beautiful life your whole life, even well into your older years. And part of that means learning to forgive others and heal yourself. You know, so I hope that was helpful. I hope this resonated with you in some way and you learned something. And if this is something that resonates with you, but you feel like there's a resistance, there's a struggle there of figuring out, okay, how do I actually put this into practice? Like, it sounds great, you know, but like, I don't know if I could do it. I created something that could help you. And I'm super pumped, because when I was creating it, I had the intention of creating it for a friend but then as I was like doing it, I was like, oh shit, this is going to help me out too. I need to like listen to this myself. So I created a guided audio visualization on forgiveness. So this is something that you'll just, have headphones on ideally and just listen to it. It will be a digital download available for purchase on my link tree. So like my link in bio, if you go to my Instagram, YouTube, or like the Facebook page, it'll be my main link will be Linktree, but on the Linktree it'll show a button that you can click to purchase the meditation or the visualization audio, and it will just get sent to your email that you use when you pay, like you put in your info. It'll just get sent to that email right away. And in the show notes of this episode, excuse me, in the show notes of this episode, I'll also put the link on there for you. Excuse me. So I think that'll really be helpful. I know it'll help me out, and I'm definitely going to use it on myself to continue to practice this forgiveness exercise. I believe visualization, just like meditating in general, that whole thing is super powerful, and you can really help heal yourself with your mindset. So if you're struggling with forgiveness or just want that added support, please consider checking that out. It'll be on my website, not my website. It's like my link tree. I don't have like a full-on website yet, but I'm working on it, because once I'm done with my health coaching stuff, I will make an actual website and include all that in there. But for now, I'm going to be making audios, like visualizations or affirmation audios, in the future. So this is just the beginning of that. I plan to release more on like abundance, like money mindset, breath work, anxiety, self-esteem, what else, like gratitude, sexuality, embracing your authentic self, things like that. And I'm open to your suggestions. So if you are on Spotify, there's going to be a little box you can type in to, like, you can say your suggestions or just say any feedback, or if this resonated with you or whatever on Spotify. If you're listening on on other platforms, then I suggest you follow me on Instagram at Sacred Health with Carolyn, and then just like send me a DM or comment on the post for the podcast. And you can let me know there. And then, like I said, the YouTube video is going to be live on the Tuesday following this podcast release. So let me look at the calendar. So the 19th of September at 10 a.m. is when the YouTube video will be live, and you could comment on that as well. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I know this was a longer episode, but I appreciate your time, and I really hope this helped you and just opened your mind a little bit about learning to forgive and find compassion and love towards other people. Because it's such a game changer once you can figure that out, even for just one scenario. Like, it opens the whole world to new possibilities of just loving people and learning to be open-minded. Like, it's helped me out a lot, and I'm still practicing it. But even just the amounts of times that I have shifted my perspective into one of more compassion, it's made a huge difference. And so I really hope this helps you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Remember, strive to live a vibrant life. See you next time.